Hey, what's up, VC? It's Steve again, Harmless Rebel. Time for another quick update. First and foremost, in the background, I'm playing Hope Cassidy. I've mentioned her a few times. This is actually a good friend of mine. She's a singer-songwriter. She is actually a full-time songwriter in Nashville. She's written songs for a number of country artists. I think I noted on one of my more recent videos, she just sold one of her songs to, I'm going to draw a blank, Blake Shelton's wife, Miranda Lambert, I'm sorry. She just sold one of her songs to Miranda Lambert. It'll be on Miranda's next album. And the next song comes up, or the song that comes up next is actually on the Country 100 right now, which is pretty cool. So I'll put a link down below if you guys want to check out this album for one of the videos off of it, and then also her iTunes link if you guys are so inclined to support her. She's doing really well. She's got a second CD about to come out. She's doing the country festival circuit right now. But again, a great songwriter, So, and leading into that, we're just going to do a country update. I've been finding quite a few country gems lately, and then a few that are not so gemish. So let me share with you what I've been picking up lately. Let's go ahead and get started. First up, I was pretty excited to see this. I really like this movie, and I mean, let's be honest, this is one of the queens of country music right here. This is the original soundtrack from Coal Miner's Daughter. This is the story of Loretta Lynn. If you like country music and you're not familiar with Loretta Lynn, you're doing it wrong. Most of these are the actual songs from the soundtrack, so most of it's actually sang by Sissy Spacek. There's one by Beverly D'Angelo, but let's see. Yeah, all but that one are all Sissy Spacek, which is, she did a really good job on here. Any way you look at it, it's definitely a country album worth picking up. Again, Coal Miner's Daughter, original soundtrack. Let's see where I want to go next. Next up, I showed the first one here, but I actually got part 2 this last week as well. So we've got Emmylou Harris, Profile, and then Profile 2. I'm a real big fan of Emmylou Harris through probably about 1980. And then she's come back around recently, and she's been doing some really good classic country. From what I've heard, and I could be wrong on this, from what I've heard, she pretty much stuck with classic country music through the 70s. The 80s, from what I understand, she had some personal stuff going on. I don't know much about that, but her music is really amazing. If you like just good classic country music, this is a good way to go. She's got quite a few hits too. Sweet Dreams, To Daddy, which is a Dolly Parton song. She did a great job on that. C'est La Vie, Chuck Berry song, is on one. And then Together Again is an old Buck Owens song that's amazing. They're both really good albums. 2, Wayfarer Stranger is really good. Born to Run, Blue Kentucky Girl, Mr. Sandman, Save the Last Dance for Me. Both just really good classic country music albums. Check those out for sure. A lot of classic country this time. Let's go ahead and go with one of the kings of country music. Using those words a lot today, but whatever. Picked up 2 more from Willie. The Sound in Your Mind, and then Always on My Mind, which is one of his, probably one of his more famous albums. Here's the deal with Willie Nelson. I've picked up, I grew up with Willie Nelson. My dad's a big fan. My dad played a lot of Willie Nelson. When I was a kid, that was one of the, Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash were the 2 biggest things that he played on guitar. So I grew up around it. This is going to sound weird. I think he's really underrated. you know. And I know that sounds weird because most people think Willie Nelson, you know, he's got so many big songs out there. Everybody knows who he is. I've listened to, in the last year and a half, I bought about 12 Willie Nelson albums. I can't think of a bad song on one of them. Every single song that he does is just amazing. It's just really good. He's just that good. And his cover tunes, a lot of his cover tunes blow away the original, you know. Everything he does is just amazing. You know, and I like that he fills up his albums with just great music. It's not there. I mean, there's a couple singles, and those are usually the two newest songs. But then he fills it up with some really cool medleys and really cool cover songs. And I mean, this one, you got Crazy and Amazing Grace are the two big covers off of here. Both amazingly done. I mean, his version of Crazy is one of the best out there. Let's see. And then Always on My Mind. Here he's got Bridge Over Troubled Water, another amazing cover. Everything he does is just amazing. Like I said, I haven't heard a song that he's done, or an album that he's done, that hasn't just blown me away from beginning to end. And that's saying a lot, because the man's got almost, and it may be 100 albums. It's ridiculous how many albums he's put out. So, Willie Nelson. The next two I picked up, one I really liked, one I thought was okay. I ran across a couple of Chet Atkins albums, Progressive Pickin', and the Atkins String Company, The Night Atlanta Burned. The big difference, I think, is the time frame. The first one here, Progressive Pickins from 1964, and then Night Atlanta Burned is from 1975, I think. Yeah, 1975. Progressive Pickin' is just good old school country. If you're familiar with Chet Atkins, he's a guitar player, obviously. But that's all. From what I know, all of his music's instrumental. He may have some stuff out there with vocals over it, but really good instrumental. This one, Summertime and Love Letters, I Remember You, just amazing, amazing covers. Just really good classic country picking. And he's amazing. It's amazing how good he is. The Night Atlanta Burned, it's not that it's a bad album, it's the stuff that he covered. The guitar playing and the musicianship is really good, but it's Sonoro, which is like almost like a flamenco type song. Mostly Mozart, which is just that. It's different picks or different riffs he pulled from Mozart. San Antonio Stroll, again, it's more. I mean, this whole thing is it's just kind of a hodgepodge. Mother of Ireland, Scotland. It's just kind of a hodgepodge of different sounds, and when I want to listen to Chet Atkins, I want to hear him playing some good down-home country music. So just kind of my thoughts on that one. So like I said, I really like Progressive Pickin'. The Night Atlanta Burned, like I said, it's not a bad album. I'll listen to it again. I wouldn't put it at the top of the list. So. Next up, I will put up something that's at the top of the list, and he's one of my favorite modern country artists. I ran across Vince Gill's solo LP, or I'm sorry, not solo, his debut LP. He did a mini album before this with like 5 or 6 songs, but this was his first full length. As you can see, New Melt Artist of the Year there. Another really underrated musician, I will say, because he's not just a songwriter. One thing I like about Vince Gill, he writes almost all of his own music. I think this, if I remember correctly, there was one song on here that was written by somebody else, and then one he co-wrote with Rosanna Cash. But other than that, he writes it all himself. And he really is another really prolific musician. A lot of people don't know about this about Vince Gill. Everybody knows that's familiar with him that he's real good on guitar, and he's pretty famous for his guitar work. A lot of people don't know though he doesn't just play country music; he's a session guitarist. And I know he's gone to the studio with Alice Cooper. I know he's gone to the studio with Ozzy Osbourne. He crosses over a lot. He doesn't just stick with country music. He's just an all-around really good guitarist, and he's known for being a really good shredder to a lot of the heavy metal bands. I've heard of different groups going to him to get riffs. just from different interviews that I've read over the years. So, and then the fact that he just blows out some amazing country music as well is really good. And the cool thing about this is Vince Gill is one of those artists that this album is from 85, 84, yeah, 85, and if this came out today, it would probably be just as popular. I mean, that's how good his music is. So, Vince Gill. Was that the self-title? The Things That Matter is the name of that album. This one, I was familiar with her, but I haven't really heard her since 92, 93. This is Mary Chapin Carpenter, State of the Heart. And this is a promo copy. No, is it? No. It's a stamp promo. I thought it was actually a white label, but I guess it's not. Really good country music, though. Not too poppy. I don't like when the country artists cross over too much. There's some that you do that crossover that can still hold on to that classic country reigns, and I still end up liking them. But then you get, and I'll go over that next, somebody who just goes a little bit too far and just I just kind of lose interest when that happens. But this is a really good album. I've only heard a couple of her albums, so I don't know that all of her albums were like this, but this one was really good. So Mary Chapin Carpenter. Now next up is somebody, like I was saying, that started off really amazing and went towards the pop country sound and just kind of lost herself. And that's going to be Crystal Gayle. This is I've Cried the Blue right out of my eyes. This is a really, really good album. I was really blown away by this. I remember Crystal Gayle, but I remember her from this era. You know, from this was 80, or this was 79. I remember her from the early 80s though, and so I was kind of hesitant to buy this album. But then I saw, you know, it's 1973. Country wasn't too pop yet, so I decided to check it out, and I was really pleased with it. So this one's kind of one of those weird ones from the late 60s, early 70s, where I guess she just wasn't doing well in the U.S., so this album was actually released in Britain, or in the U.K. in 1973? Yeah, in 73. So this was her first actual album, and then she started picking up steam, and they released another album in 74 or 75 here in the U.S., and this one actually wasn't released in the U.S. until 1978. So even though this is her third album released in the U.S., it's actually her first album. And the sound had a really good sound, but it was real familiar to me, and I couldn't figure out why. And then I picked it up and looked at the back, and almost all the songs were written by Loretta Lynn or Marty Robbins, who, I mean, you can't go wrong with either of those. Either of those writers, you know, they're both amazing. So this is one I definitely recommend you check out if you like country music. And then on the other end of the spectrum is Miss the Mississippi. This was 1979, so you know, you're talking 5 years later, and she's completely gone the opposite direction. This could be an Olivia Newton-John album. I mean, that's how poppy it is. There's almost no country to this. I mean, the song Danger Zone is on here. Made famous by Kenny Loggins, but written by his brother. You know, I couldn't even make it through the whole first side. I think I listened to the first 4 songs. I just took it off. So I'm sure there's people out there that love it. It's just not for me. So anybody out there that wants some Crystal Gayle, let me know. Maybe we'll get something. Next up, this one was kind of out there. Shane Barbie. I couldn't find him on Discogs. I couldn't find any information on him. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I'll get to that in a sec. But this was a promo copy. I'm wondering if this was ever actually fully released. But this guy was an actor, apparently. He acted in Dukes of Hazzard. I can't remember all the shows and movies he acted in, but he's done a lot of cowboy roles. And he does, I saw that he advertised, he'll do a cowboy show for your party, I guess. But he was an actor first. I guess he decided he wanted to get into music, and he's got a good voice. The problem is, every single song sounds like somebody else, and it's a different sound, you know? One song it sounds like he's trying to be Hank Williams. The next song he's trying to be George Strait. The next song he's trying to be Hank Williams Jr. It's just a weird mesh. And the sad thing is, like I said, he's got a good voice, and there's some really good songs on here. If he would have stuck with the one style and just made it consistent, it could have been a good album. But the fact that he just bounces around from style to style, and it just never comes together. I don't say don't check it out. Like I said, there's still a couple of good songs on here, and I'll probably hold on to it, you know. But it was just kind of a weird one for me. So Shane Barbie, it's Let's Talk About Us. So this here was another, I'll get to this one in a second. So I mentioned in my last country update that I've been really getting into Linda Ronstadt lately. And I've been picking up a lot of her stuff. And I knew she did a weird shift later on in her career. This is from 1984. This is Linda Ronstadt with Nelson Riddle and his orchestra, Lush Life. If you're looking for the country Linda Ronstadt, this is the wrong place to look. This is actually her playing big band music, and it's almost 20s, 30s style. I don't want to say it's bad because it's really good. I mean, she kills it. She's really, really, really good. Every song, I mean, the orchestra was amazing. It's a great, great album. It's just not country. So if you're a country music fan and you see any of the stuff with Nelson Riddle, there's this one. There is also What's New, which I haven't listened to. I picked this one up about a week ago. Haven't checked this one out. If you like big band, I mean, it's definitely worth checking out. You know, just don't expect it to be country music, you know. Like I said, it is a good album. I did dig it. But definitely not country if that's what you're looking for. So, not sure why I did it as part of my country update other than it's Linda Ronstadt. But, so this one was kind of cool. It took me a lot of searching to find any information on this album. This one's called Super Kicker. One heck of an album. 16 great country artists. And it's this is a great, great album. Come Live With Me from Roy Clark. Barbara Mandrell. Drift Away from Narvel Phelps. If you haven't, I'm pretty sure you've all heard that song. Uncle Cracker brought it back just recently. This is the first big version. There's actually a version before this that's not that good. But Drift Away, Johnny Carver, Tie a Yellow Ribbon, Come Monday from Jimmy Buffett, Don Williams, Hank Thompson, Roy Price, Freddie Fender. This is just some good country music. This is actually a UK only release. I'm not sure. I didn't know country was real big in the UK in the 70s. I think this was 76, yeah. But just a really cool comp. If you see that, I recommend you guys pick it up. Every song on here is just really good. And there were a couple of artists here I wasn't familiar with that I'll be checking out in the future, or that I'll be looking for in the future. So, again, really cool comp there. And then last but not least, this was probably one of the coolest things that I found. I don't usually mess with these box sets. You know, when you see these boxes like this, a lot of them are classical, and I usually don't even look at them. And for some reason, I just decided to a couple weeks ago, and I was shocked by what I saw. It's the King and Queen of Country from Columbia Musical Treasures. It's Johnny Cash and Tammy Wynette. It's kind of a greatest hits from, I can't remember what year it was, let's see. This is their greatest hits as of 1969. It's actually a 4-album set. Is it 2 of Johnny and 2 of Tammy? Yeah. 2 albums of Johnny Cash and 2 of Tammy Wynette. I mean, it's all their hits up through that period. Let's see if I can get this up. And it doesn't look like it was ever played. I mean, I played the first album of it, and it just, I mean, there's no noise. Yeah, I guess there's a couple light scratches, but like I said, this is album 1. I didn't hear one pop, one crackle, very little static, but, you know, Folsom Prison Blues, Don't Take Your Guns to Town, Matador, Sons of Katie Elder, Ballad of Boot Hill. I mean, it just goes on and on. It's all great songs. So, I mean, it was a pretty cool find. I think I paid $3 for it, you know? I mean, it's not a high dollar box set. I think it's, I see it going for about $25 in most places. And not that it matters, I won't sell it, but I just thought that was a really, really cool find. But again, that's the King and Queen of Country box set. Johnny Cash and Tammy Wynette. And, I mean, who can argue that is the King and Queen of Country music in my opinion. And then one other one I got, I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, otherwise I'd have thrown this in here. This is from Time Life Records. This is Charley Pride. It's one of the greatest hits that they've done. And you see the collection. It's a whole collection of country music that they've done. Charley Pride, Waylon Jennings, George Jones. They got Elvis, Johnny Cash, Marty Robbins, Jim Reeves, Hank Williams. I mean, a who's who. It looks like a pretty cool collection. I'm going to have to keep an eye out. I really like the artwork that they used as part of this collection. So I'll definitely be checking this one out. It's got its full story back there. I always think it's funny when you hear people talking about Darius Rucker, Cowboy Troy being the first black artists of country music, when you got Charley Pride that was around back in the 60s. Yeah, it just blows me away that more people don't know about him. And it's not like he wasn't famous. I mean, he was huge. You know, even, and it's kind of funny, I've read quite a few stories about, you know, different communities that were just outright racist. You know, in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, these just super racist groups that for some reason just really love Charley Pride, you know. And like I almost wonder if they even knew, you know, I don't know that they put his face on the album covers. I'm sure they did, but I wonder how many people knew that Charley Pride was black and that they were listening to black music too. It just cracks me up, you know. I find that very amusing that you got these KKK members or members of different groups back in the 60s that were probably bobbing their head to Charley Pride, not even knowing that he was a black man. I think that's kind of awesome. But regardless, that's my country update. This went a little longer than I wanted, but I had a lot to cover. So again, in the background, Hope Cassidy, like a movie scene. Great new artist. Definitely should recommend you check her out. Again, the links are down below. Other than that, have a great weekend, VC. Happy Mother's Day to all you ladies out there. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.